It is April 28th. Hopefully this video doesn't crap out on me also. It's been a pretty terrible fucking downtrend on BTC for the past roughly about a month or so since we topped out at $49,000. But I still think that we have a move up to 49K, if not 50s. The only bad thing is that I don't know how deep this could possibly go before we head back out. Under no circumstances do I think that we're going to break out of this range to the downside without retesting at least 49 or $50,000. That's going to be a little too bearish for me. Can it happen? Sure, but I'm not betting on it happening is what I'm trying to tell you. So if you hone in on a level to level basis, if you go like to your 12-hour and you start identifying your consolidation levels or zones rather, you consolidated here, and from the downside, we consolidated here. So we're kind of sandwiched in between these consolidation zones, and to one, you might think, oh, it's just a range, who cares? But no, it's important because these are the ranges that led to the impulse, the break in structure. So this led to the break in structure to the top side, right? This led to the break in structure to the downside, which obviously seems like we can't get above right now for the time being. And this led to the what's it called? The break of structure to the downside. So all in all I'm thinking is that we're just going to chop around and crab around for another fucking quarter until we either reaccumulate enough where people or market makers are ready to send this thing back up to anywhere between $50,000 or $55,000, or this really is distribution and a bearish structure, and we're going to go down to the 24, 23K range. At that point, you need to be open that if we do happen to get back down here at that 24, 23K range, you are likely going to deviate and go to the 19s. I don't think this is going to be a V reversal if we do happen to go down here at all. I think we're going to create a base. I'm talking about a bearish scenario. If we do happen to break down and create a base here and accumulate, go back up to retest, I think we're going to come back down to sweep the first low that we put in by going down to like $19,000 or $20,000 eventually within the upcoming months. So I'm not sure that this is going to be one of those, hey, let's just V reverse back up and head out. I think this is going to be a let's bore everyone to death, shake people out of the market completely before we start another macro leg to the top side. So I'm playing with this from a macro perspective. I'll show you guys the indicators soon, how we look. Let me see this, but let me see if I have this visible real quick. Hold on. You delete this. And you delete this. Put on the histo, make it orange, get rid of the signal line. I want to show you guys something. Go to your weekly. I think it was weekly or 2 week that I saw it. Go to your Bitstamp. Make this a lot darker so you guys could see it. Okay. Orange means volatility and a pending shift in market or trend will take place. So if you look at, actually, you know what? I'm going to put on my TMA bands. Give me the 2 week. I think it's very visible on the 2 week. Beautiful. Okay. When you break your 2 week TMA band in the mid, you usually go down to the green. Okay. Go down to the green. If you do happen to see it break down, go down to the green. If you do happen to break down from here, you're probably going to end up going between $21,000 and $29,000. Okay. But that's not even what I want to show you guys. That's just nonsense, right? Let me show you this now. I'm pretty sure you all know how to use the histo by now, right? We've been using it for about a month, no more. What am I saying? A month, probably like 5 months. Let me show you guys something. Let's go all the way back to 2014. Now, mind you, we're in the 2 week. Okay, 2 week. So start counting how when you are on the 2 week TMA band in the mid, you already had your first impulse of histo fire. The histo when it turns orange, it's an algo, right? So if you already had your first algo fire here, and then you have your second algo fire here, on the TMA and you break down, you're not going to reverse until you start creating new algo fires to the downside, which could potentially take roughly about 1 or 2 full quarters, right? So us trying to grab a bottom every fucking week and all we doing is making lower lows, you're going to end up blowing your account if we keep playing like this, right? So be very careful and be patient with what we're working with right now. And look at it from this side over here, right? Once you get that slope on the 2 week and all you see is histo fires going to the downside and you're sloping, right? You technically, and you're basically pending a break in structure on the macro, which means that you need to go for a full-on reset sub-zero. The way the histo works, for those who've asked in DMs, is when you go sub-zero or above zero, you're fully resetting the asset. The way you fully resetted it over here, let me show you what it looks like on the chart, right? This is going to be over here, fully reset, which was a 2015 and 14 bottom. And then when you go on to the 2017 bottom, 2018 bottom, you did a full-on blown reset over here as well, right? Full-on blown reset over here as well. And then when we had COVID, even though we did dump, we never crossed the zero line. So this dump kind of was a true shakeout. It's very evident we never did a proper reset. The last reset we had was here and then here. So we had 2 resets in all of BTC's fucking history. And now we're possibly pending a 3rd fucking reset. What do I mean by that? Well, if I expand this like this, right? You could see this, right? If I expand this like this, let's get rid of the TMA bands. Let's just actually mark the green part. The green part of the TMA band is there and here. Get rid of it so it's nice and clean. So 30 and 21,000 is the top and bottom of the green bands for the TMA. So as you could tell, we actually made a higher high, slopes went lower. You had your first impulse, right? First algo fire of the orange. And now you're pending your second, you're in the second, sorry, but you're sloping so close to the zero line. And what happens when you get to the zero line? You have volatility, you have a break. Now, are we going to have a repeat of what happened during COVID, where we ended up coming down to the zero line, but we never really broke? Look what happened. We came down to the zero line here, right? Completely down to the zero line. We dumped, we broke structure, but we never went down. We never went under the zero line over here at all. Over here we did. We went under the zero line, reset completely, broke back above. Over here now, we have roughly about, say, I think that personally speaking, if we come down under the 1500 volatility figure, the value-wise, if we go under this and start trading under, it's going to end up creating a cascade in liquidity. We're going to end up going down. That's what I'm afraid of. And if that's the case, then I'm not going to touch this asset until we do a full-on reset, meaning like goes under the zero line. You see bars here, and then you start seeing bars creep up to the zero line again, or you have at least one orange fire to the downside. So guys, keep in mind, things do not look pretty. Not that they don't look pretty. Things are just, we're not in an investor's market, is what I'm trying to say. We're just not in an investor's market. Just keep that in mind. Now going back to the chart, I'm sorry I spent 8 minutes talking about the histo, but it's important for people that actually use it. Go back to the charts, and I want to show you guys one more thing. Go to your 3-day, right? Go to your 3-day. So these are the levels that you could, give or take, these are the levels that you should be playing with, right? Ideally, what you want to see is price get above $45,000 so we could start a new impulse to the top side. And at that point, we could assume now we're either going to go for that $49,000 mark, which is going to be this over-under over here, right? Or once you reclaim this, then you could assume that consolidation here and then go back up to the 55 in a bullish scenario, right? But more often than not, when you see this type of structure, it does not look good. It does not look good because if you look at your 2-week, right, what do you have? What do you have? These are ugly, man. Disgusting. There hasn't been one low taken at all. Now, I understand that this is an order block, right? This is an order block. We're in the 2-week order block, right? That's why half of it is white, is pretty much white versus gray because it got taken. But this is still disgusting. So let me see something. algo's actually pumping, and let me see something. I'm sorry, guys, 1 second, because I was in a pretty decent algo position. So you dumped yesterday at 9 a.m. and now we're creeping back up, which is a typical shit that BTC loves to do. So we're sandwiched between these two blocks. Up here, between 52 and 46, block number 1, and then block number 1 over here. So these two blocks are pretty much what's keeping us in range, in the middle. So that's why I'm not really bearish, I'm not really bullish. This is just chop. But if you look at the higher time frame, things are taking forever to reset on the oscillators, which makes me think that we're probably pending a monster move. And for me to see a reset of this monster move, I think it's going to be a dump, to be honest with you, right? Like, I don't know why it's taking so long to reset. We've been in this chop fest for, I don't know, probably like 5 months since when did we get in here? November. Now we're in April. That's a long time, guys. It's a long time. So keep that in mind. The only light that I see, which is freaking awesome, is if you're looking at the histo. We already had our first histo fire with the weekly. This is beautiful. I said it in the past. You're not gonna break above without having a histo fire in the weekly, right? So this is beautiful. Now we're working on our second, which is great, which means that we have potentially one more dump to finalize. And we are squeezing. See how the mid light turned red? We are squeezing, hence why we dumped. So hopefully that thing turns green soon. The weekly is curled to the downside, which obviously is not good. The 3-day, let me see what the 3-day looks like. 3-day just started a fresh, yeah, so we don't even have a 3-day algo fire yet. Yeah, man. I don't know. I personally think that we're gonna get a scam pump to the top side, and that's gonna result in some pretty ugly downside. And I'll probably see something towards the end of the month. I do not think that we're gonna end up breaking the lows. I do not think that we're gonna end up breaking the macro lows at 30. I don't know what this is, $29,000, until we get to at least 49 or 50K. I don't see it. I think that if that happens, it's officially considered a bear market to me. There is no deviation or fake out to range lows and then go back up. No, I think if you break this, it's game over for us, man. Like, the whole idea of deviating, you have to know when and when a deviation is valid and when it's not. This is not valid to deviate this, to do something like this. That's not valid to me. That's like death right there, right? So let's see what happens. Now, can this thing do this? Sure, but I doubt this is gonna do this. That's just not that's not even feasible for me. These lows are beautiful. There's no reason to sweep these lows. I think any business coming down, if you have any business coming down to $30,000, you're gonna break them. Like, you did enough damage here to know that a lot of people missed out on this opportunity when they went to all-time highs. That there's no reason to revisit these lows. Now I do know that there is I think there's a yearly, hold on, where is it? Previous yearly open somewhere here, or not, yeah, right here. So the yearly open at 28.8 is intact, which opens the doors for a sweeping. But at that point, think about it, guys. There's nothing here, man. It's just all air. You might have something at 24, right? There we go, 24 right here. This little block. Let's extend this to the right. But are you really going to take the chance with that? So let's just assume that, say we die, right? Go down, bounce back up, and go down like this. Is this gonna hold to create a whole all-time high? You basically are gonna sweep the lows that already been taken. I don't know, man. I'm not for that. I think you're opening the doors for a bear market at that point. Again, there's no reason to be bearish or bullish, right? Because we're just chopping around. We're literally in a freaking range and doing absolutely nothing. The price action is pretty poor, but we've been just downtrending in this range since, I don't even know when, November something, November 7th. We've done nothing else but chop around in this range. You could put it from here, you could put it from here, whatever you prefer, right? Ideally, you want to do the trap. So if you look at the higher time from the 3-day, this is your trap, right? This is your trap. This little thing is your trap. This little guy right here is your trap. So this is your range that you're working with right now. Unless we can get above that 44, 45K range, which obviously was very evident that we were going to attempt to deviate it. Sorry, attempt to break above, but we didn't. We deviated, unfortunately. More likely than not, this ends up revisiting range lows. And especially because these lows are intact, it gives me even more confidence that this thing is cooked. I'm not trying to be negative, guys. I'm not trying to make a 20-minute video of being negative, but I'm not talking about day-to-day analysis here. I'm trying to give you my overall view of how the market looks, because I am an investor. I'm not really a scalper anymore like I used to. This is not an investor's market, guys. Be very careful. When you chop around like this, where you're making these like BARTs up, then right away wick down. BART up, then right away come down. BART up, then right away come down. That's not bullish, man. That's not bullish. You want to BART up, consolidate, higher low, and then break structure. Right? What the hell have we been doing here? We've been BARTing up, coming right back down. We have not been breaking structure. Right? BART up, come right back down. We broke structure, but we deviated the structure. Came right back down. So now when we go back up for another attempt at 44,000, if this thing rejects, it's game over, man. It's game over. That's going to be like that ultimate slap right there. I'm hoping you understand what I'm saying, because when you do these BARTs and you do these pumps, right? You want, after you come back down, you want to break the structure to the top side. So if this is your structure, this is your break of structure, BOS, right? You want to see that this gets broken. Boom. Not, hey, I'm going to deviate and come right back down. That's just fucking bearish, guys. I don't like what I see. Sorry to say it. That's my overview of BTC. I don't even know what the EMAs look like, but let's see. Yeah, we're squeezing hard with these EMAs, man. We're squeezing hard with these EMAs. The 4-day 200 MA is sitting at 32.5. The 5-day 200 MA is sitting at 32.1, which is still what I think is going to take place, because obviously you got rejected at range high, so you want to go to range low. It's typical range to range play. And that's pretty much it. So now if you look at level to level play, let's go to level to level play. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I know I went a little too far, but I needed to do this. I got a few DMs about the overall picture, what I think. Level to level play, right? So assuming that we're in that 1 hour, it's just disgusting. Guys, every time you see something like this, get out of the market. This is just gonna end up doing either this or this. One of these two. It's disgusting. This little grind up like this is terrible, man. Not financial advice, of course, but still, this is terrible, guys. Be careful, man. All right. Level to level placers. Where are we? Quarterly high, previous quarterly high. Let's go to the daily. See what it looks like. Previous quarterly high is 48.2. Quarterly high is 47.4. And then you definitely have a gap. Yes, you do. You have a beautiful fair value gap imbalance sitting right above here, right above the quarterly highs. I think it's pretty evident that we are going to go here regardless of where this thing wants to go, right? So be very careful. If we do happen to get a dump down to sweep the lows, we have March lows here. The monthly lows, March, at 37.1, let's say. That means that more likely than not, you're going to come and fill this gap over here, and then that's going to lead to an impulse to the top side. Now, I'm not telling you it's going to go to all-time highs, but if we do happen to do something like this, I'm going to punt some longs because this is going to fill this wick. I'm going to target automatically. I'm going to make this orange. Make this orange. There's a gap here. Oh, I made it red. Where did I make it orange? And then from there, we got to hope that we're going to make a higher low to retest the breakout and then go to the top side. So something like this is very feasible. I believe that we could potentially have something like this in play. The only thing that throws me off a little bit is that, again, we do not have any sweeps of any of these lows. This is low number 1, and then this is low number 2. very disgusting, that needs to get swept. So it's either going to be that we're going to sweep the March previous low and then go to the top side, or we're going to go first up, then come down completely and then go to the top side. But I still think that this $49,000 has a good chance of being tapped. Now, I spoke to John over the phone. He's away, unfortunately, for work. He's probably going to be away for another maybe couple of months. Unfortunately, his job has him out of town. So he told me to be very careful. He's like 80% out of the market. He thinks that the market will end up being the rate's going to either extend itself or it's going to have to collapse for his algo to fire. So there's nothing bullish about where we are right now, unfortunately for us. But taking consideration what we have right here, I know this is a little messy, guys, but hold on. This is still your range no matter what is said and done. What did just happen? This is still your range right here. I'm gonna put horizontal right there. Right? This is your range. 44.6 is the mark that we need to get above on a weekly time frame. So we're either going to go down to the gray before, let's make this green. Sorry. Let's make this green. We're either going to go down to the green before we go up to the blue, or we're going to go up to the blue first, tap the orange, and then come down to the green, or blue, whatever the hell this color is. But this is what I'm working with, guys. Unfortunately, I don't have anything else to say. I'm not doing daily video updates because they're useless. They're useless. We've been fucking chopping around since January. And, I'd rather be working on the back end. I'm doing a lot of work on fair value gaps, educational content that I'm going to release with John. Indicator is pretty much good to go so far. I'll show you guys how it works afterwards. I'm not going to waste another 15 minutes going into the whole indicator. And, if things progress, the BTC does break out, we're going to make a lot of money because we have tools that we never had in the past. Just keep that in mind, right? And let me see how the blocks look on the higher time frame. Yeah, this 2-day block down here got hit so many times that I don't know if it's gonna last another tap down. I don't know if it's gonna last. That's gonna be interesting to see. Let me see how the 3-day looks. Yeah, line in the sand. There's this 3-day down here, right there, right there. Yeah, we're gonna be sandwiched between these two then, for the time being. It's gonna be interesting. But anyway, guys, trade safe. Any questions that you might have, shoot me a DM, and hopefully things clean up a little bit with this price action. Cheers.